Okay, so yes, my camera kind of is a pain in the ass and won't focus. But you can see the blue. It's not red like the normal community software firmware that Sebastian and them released. The only thing I changed was the color blue for me. And I had someone else on Facebook wanted a slightly different color, and I did it for him. He's getting some issues where this yellow part, in this case mine says hot in, idle, timeout, is up in the middle of things. See if I can get that to focus. Yeah. So that's yellow right there. On his, it's apparently way up in here. Not sure why. So this one isn't necessarily about the print that I'm doing. It's just about that screen, which sucks. Why won't this thing focus? Let me see if I can dick around with that a little bit. So you kind of see it. That's as focused as it's going to get. My camera just sucks. All right, so we're all heated up. And I did that by going into Control, Temp, Preheat PLA settings. I didn't like their settings. I changed them for me, which is all fuzzed out for you. Mine's set to 207 and 205. Oh, this really sucks, because that's actually blue, and it's just white for you. Get further away. Man, this sucks. This ain't going to work. Well, there I get kind of in close. Oop, wait. Focus, you. Focus! Okay, so you can see the box is blue. Holy cow. Anything but reading an LCD screen, these cameras are great. They cannot read an LCD screen. It just won't focus. Well, anyway, trust me, I changed the settings there. And then I went into Prepare, Preheat PLA, and it's preheating. And then back. We'll give it a second to warm up. I must have hit one of the settings, the hot end cooled off. Oh, it's doing that. I'm going to take a second and make sure the nozzle is clear. And it is. And again, we're not doing anything to do with the print itself, per se. I am making a print, obviously. All right, so we're almost at temp again. We're at 203. I prefer 207 for my filament that I have. Oh, there it focused. You can see that yellow bar. Apparently you just got to let it sit. 205. You can see the yellow here is down where it's supposed to be and not up there. See, the top is my custom blue. And we're going to go to print. Oh, I see what happened. The screen timed out. Oh, SD card fail. Oh, probably helpful actually. Inserted the SD card, huh? And I'm doing this one. It's asking me if I'm sure that's what I want to print from SD card, confirm or cancel. I'd wait for it to time out, but I'm afraid that the hot end will cool off, so I'm just going to say continue. And I just saw right there what he was talking about. I'm not sure why it says heating up. It's already heated. That yellow bar was in the middle this time. So when the screen dims, okay. So I'm going to keep the lights up for a moment because I need to actually make sure the first layer goes in as it's supposed to. Everything looks good for the, and yes, the whole, yeah, waiting for heat up is in the middle. Okay, mine is doing what his was. All that. It's a pain in the butt. And because it touched the bed, the hot end cooled off. We got to wait for it to heat up again. That's an issue. Now he has a different firmware out there, or they have, the community one, where it doesn't turn the hot end off. See, now before I was printing from Octoprint, so I didn't have this yellow bar, but printing from the SD card, I do have it. Hopefully that shows up there in the middle, exactly like he was saying. Now, I honestly don't know if that's the change I made, because all I did was change the colors, and those aren't even affected on this screen. But it has the name of what we're printing in the middle. It shouldn't be there. And the screen is unresponsive. Yeah. Oh, there it did. Okay. I actually need to raise the Z height up just a smidge. We're going to go to 33. We were at 31. The screen is offset. Well, fudge. I honestly don't know if it's the SD card, because I was printing from Octoprint before, and I didn't use the screen. Turn the light back down so you can see that screen better. And yeah, definitely in the middle. And it also pushes the buttons up. So the buttons are in between where it says printing time and where it says in yellow, settings stored. So the control screen is on top, or overlaying it. Well, let's see if we can get back into tune. Yeah, it's up just above it. Wait for the screen to dim down again. I think it's 30 seconds. I could be wrong, but I think it's 30 seconds. There we go. Dim down. So yeah, that is most definitely an issue. Now, I don't understand why me changing the colors would do anything with that, but I'm now in the middle of a 4-hour, well, I'm at the very beginning of a 4-hour print. I'm going to just go ahead and let it run because it seems to be doing its thing. The reason I say that is I've noticed some other people are having some issues with the Z offset, which I don't even see on the screen. The screen size setting is off. It's the resolution I used. I believe it was like 272 by 480. Let me check real quick. Firmware CR-6. Let me switch the screens on this and you see what I'm looking at. That's not helpful. Here. Okay. So this is the original, the red ones. And you can see the dimensions are 272 by 480. Width is 272, height is 480. This is theirs. I think I know what the issue is. Let's go to the one I did. Properties, details. Okay, no, I did do them the same way. Because this is what we should be seeing on the screen. Where's the print one? Oh, there it is. That's what we should be seeing. With the Z offset and the time at the bottom, or the flow rate, I believe is what it is not what we are seeing. It's like the bottom part of the screen's cut off, like the resolution's wrong. Yeah, so this is what we should have. And it's like everything's pushed down. It's definitely an issue that I did. I'll check that again. .480 by 272. Go back to their original one. .480 by 272. Bit depth 2496. Am I missing something? Resolution unit 2. So this one here is the one I did. See if I can get them side by side. So the only difference I see, mine has a resolution unit of 2, and theirs does not. Otherwise, they're identical. And of course, I use Winchester Code 21, but I don't know why that really makes a difference. The only difference I see is resolution 2. Here's the print screen. I believe it's this one. Same exact settings. Let's go back to the one I did. And this one. Move that over. That's the resolution 2 here, though. Oh, I'm so confused. It is exactly the same. Why is it off? That's kind of a pain in the ass. God damn it. So no, it is not correct. And Josh is correct. But I don't know if it's just mine or if it's also the community firmware. I will have to wait 3 hours and 50 minutes until this print is done, because I am not going to stop it. And then switch back to the stock Community Firmware and see if it does the same thing. If it does, then it's something in the firmware and not something I did. If the stock Community Firmware is good, then obviously it's my mistake, and I either have to decide if I'm going to live with this and keep the blue, or not live with this and go back to the red. So like I said earlier, I was printing from Octoprint, so other than how it visually looked, I didn't even test the functionality so much of it. I mean, you saw the little short 1-minute video. That's about all I did, and it looked good, but I never started a print from this SD card. Damn it. Now that it's dimmed, I'm going to get it to focus for you. Nope, still won't focus. You can see how it's really out of whack. Alright, well, I'm going to cut this here for a moment. For you, for me it's going to be 4 hours. But I'm going to cut this for 4 hours. Come back with the other firmware already installed on the motherboard, or the LCD board. I'm not going to do anything with the firmware itself, just the DWIN folder. Put the stock Community firmware in there, the New Year edition, and try to print from the SD card. We'll know right away if it's what's going on at that point. Okay, so we saw the custom colored blue Community Firmware that I did. Now we're putting the original back on there with the red of the custom Community Firmware. So right now we're flashing the DWIN folder to the display. I know, all you see is a white fuzzy screen. Oh, this camera just ticks me off. There you can kind of see it. I know, it's fuzzy, it's blurry. It is what it is. You get the gist of it if you've seen them. Further away I get, nope. There you see the end, and it's done. Those of you who know, that says end right there. So now that it's done, power it off. And I'm going to move you back a little bit so you can kind of see a bit more of the process of what's happening here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug the cord from the back of the display. The memory card slot is right here, and the memory micro SD card I have. And because I have really big fingers, we have a pair of tweezers. And get a hold of it. There it is. And take that memory card out. Now typically at this point you'd have put it all back together and put it in. Actually, you know, I'm just going to run the stock firmware for a while. Do a couple of tests. Those of you that have seen this and don't care, skip ahead. It is what it is. Probably should have tested it before I screwed it all together. But I've done this like a few times. And unless I copied the wrong DWIN folder, we should be fine. Some of you might be asking, why is he not using the Allen keys? Well, you know what? Those Allen keys that come with all of these 3D printers. Now, granted, the particular ones that came with the CR-6 actually aren't bad. They have the rounded ball ends. But I have typically found all of the Allen keys that come with these are shit. They round out, or they strip the bolt itself, the head. And I just don't mess with it. Got that one a little too tight. Hey, need that. Oh, for Pete's sakes. I'm going to throw stuff all over the place. Now, the last time I used this firmware, I did the little quick short video you all saw before, or might have seen, that showed it was on, showed it worked, and then I proceeded to use Octoprint from thereafter. Sebastian was nice enough to show me how to change the colors in that firmware, so I did. Thought I was doing great. It was blue, it looked good. I went back to Octoprint and used Octoprint. Someone else on Facebook wanted me to change the colors for them to another color, so I did. They were printing from an SD card, and as you saw just before all of this, the yellow bar, and it's just out of alignment. It doesn't work. So hopefully it was just whatever I did and not an issue with the community firmware. What we're going to find out. So now you can see it's that ungodly red color. And we are supposed to do factory reset. There it is. Well, I don't know why it did that. Let's try that again. Restore factory settings. Settings stored. Okay. So now we gotta re-level the damn thing. So we're gonna go to level, run automatic bed leveling. We're just gonna go through the whole thing. And then we'll do a print from the SD card. And this is where you are going to see this thing is incredibly fucking slow. Now it's going to heat the bed up to 50 degrees and the thermistor up to 120. Yeah, the thermistor, it's going to heat it up to 120. It's going to come down where it almost touches the bed and then turn it off. And then we'll start over. Doink, 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 16 times. And yes, I am going to let this play live. I'm not going to speed it up in any way. Anyone out there can definitely move that little round bar in the progression and slide it ahead if they don't want to watch all this. But if you want to time it, timer's down there at the bottom. Hot end is at 120. The bed is at 41. 42. Again, it's going to 50. This is not the slow part, by the way. Now, I have found with my printer, and other people may have other whatever works for them, but I have found that putting a sheet of paper on the bed when leveling keeps me from scratching the bed. I don't know why. Even with the community firmware, even with Creality's firmware, you can see the gantry coming down in the slowest possible speed that it can and still move. But I found with that piece of paper, it offsets the bed leveling by the thickness of a sheet of paper. And then before my first print, I do the baby stepping for the Z and move it up 3, even higher. I'd rather fiddle with it and move it down slowly and get it perfect and scratch my bed. And that's where the temp turned off. It's at 0. Now it went back to 120, and now it has to heat up. It won't do anything until it gets back to 120. Keep in mind, for the last minute or so, the thermistor's been off. So it's going to take a little bit here. I think, and you have to change the firmware to do it, but I think I am going to switch to the other one that does not do this. But I don't level my bed all the time, so since I'm going through it now for you and doing this, as long as it works, I'm probably not going to mess with it until they come out with the alpha version. At that point, I might switch over to the other one that doesn't turn the thermistor off. I did the tape fix, so I don't have the 24 volt ground. The USB cable I use for my Octoprint has the red 5 volt wire cut within the cable. I don't have the 24 volt at the USB shield. I fixed that. I bypassed the switch. If you go back to my unboxing video, I didn't replace it, I just bypassed it. I have a smart plug. I turn it off and on with my cell phone. So when they get all the little bugs and kinks out of this beta firmware and we go to the alpha, we should be good. Two out of 16. 3 out of 16. Oh, it's got to heat up again. Couldn't catch up to itself. Thermistor turned off. See, when it starts going, it shuts off too much and it sits too long, and even with the sock on there, it cools off way too much, way too fast. And then having the Z probe set as slow as it is, yeah, you probably get really, really accurate bed readings. Good grief, this takes forever. I'm going to move it over as soon as it lifts, because the last ones are on the edge over there. Oop, I missed it. It's stuck. There we go. But all in all, compared to the Creality firmware, now, I didn't have a lot of the issues that other people were mentioning. Baby steps going by 0.5 instead of 0.1 was a pain in the ass, but you could deal with it. Vase Mode, I haven't tested that yet on any of them. Or, sorry, on the custom Community Firmware, I haven't tested Vase Mode. Halfway there. Oh, if you can read it, it's supposed to be at 120. No, my camera's just shit. But it's at 114. 113. And it shuts off again. See that 0 on the right? Now it's back up to 120. So pretty much the way mine is set up anyway, with the heats, or the sock on there, the fan running, and all the other stuff, pretty much does this test at between 112 and 114. It can't run at 120 because it can't heat up fast enough to get there, with it constantly shutting off. So is it really accurate? I've seen a couple of issues on the Facebook forums where people say their prints aren't as good as the original Creality one. I printed an Eiffel Tower with the Community Firmware. It didn't come out very good. You can see the top didn't even print. And you can't see them, but I got a million little hairs in every little crevice, which can be fixed with the hot air gun. There you can kind of see it down there. Oh, there you go. There's a million little friggin' hairs in there. I didn't have that with the stock Creality firmware that bad. I still had hairs, but they were little fuzzies that you could just wipe off. But not this many. So we'll try theirs without the changes I made to the colors. See what happens. Hopefully I don't have the issues that other people were describing. Now here's where I have a problem with the Community Firmware and the Creality firmware. This part actually really irritates me. Now if you're here and you're babysitting it like you're supposed to, it shouldn't be a problem. But it's done. And it just sits there for a minute, doesn't do anything. You think you're done, but it's heating up again. And now it's at temp, and you're supposed to home it. Home before adjusting anything or using the Z offset. So we're gonna home, and it says please wait, heating up and homing in progress, please wait. I don't know why it goes all the way to the left. I guess it does to home so it knows where it is. Goes down, touches the bed twice. And then it just sits there. Oh, it's going to lift up a little bit. Okay. Now it goes back down the third time. Just sits there against the bed. That's another reason I have that piece of paper in there. Now here, like I said, I'm actually going to go up 0.05 millimeters higher than what it said, just because I want to test it. Or not because I want to test it, because I don't want to risk scratching my bed. So I'm going to preheat PLA. I don't like their settings. I'm going to need to go in and change those. Temperature, preheat PLA. For me, for the brand I use, 207 works very well. And bed temp 55. Click the red button that says Save PLA Settings. Back out of here. Back into Prepare, Preheat PLA, and my changes were saved. I know you can't see them with my damn screen. Sorry. Trust me, it's set where it's supposed to be, and it's doing what it's supposed to. And we're going to go back. I'm going to go to Control, which is wrong. I'm going to go to Prepare, Move, and I'm going to lift the Z up 10 millimeters. And then get my piece of paper out of there. I probably only needed to go 1 millimeter, but hey, it is what it is. Back to the home screen, it says everything is stored. We're up to 198 degrees, 200. Now this part heats up pretty quick. I'm just double checking that the nozzle's not got that little ooze that it likes to do. The main thing I'm going to test is where this yellow thing where it says settings stored. Yeah, there. Now you saw in my previous video where that was up here. And then the buttons didn't work right. Way out of alignment. Now I'm hoping that's just something stupid I did. Okay, we're up to temp. We're going to go to print. What do we have in here? Oh, we'll just do a calibration cube. And it asks, are you sure you want to print it? Confirm. It says heating up and homing in progress. Still does the same homing where it touches the middle twice. Then it'll move left and do the wipe. I can take it out, but I actually like the wipe. This part, it's annoying that you got to clean that little dot out, but I'd rather have it. And it looks like the bars are correct. Waiting for heat up again because it turned it off to touch the bed. Honestly, that's kind of... I'm not exactly sure why they did it. I'm sure they had a reason. Me not knowing the reason is just kind of annoying. I'm assuming there was some valid reason for it, but I'm not aware what that is. So we're back up to 202. And the screen looks right, and I do recall on the other one, I'll have to look at the video when we do it, but all of this was down a little bit. That's why everything was squished. I don't think it showed the nozzle and the bed temp. Get that little divot out of the middle. There it is. Check my bed height. I think we're a little too close. Or maybe not. I heard a little click out of it. Yeah, we're too close. So let's go to tune. Z height. I went up another 0.03. So now we're a total of 0.08 higher than what it said from the bed leveling, even with a piece of paper in there. And black on black is so freaking hard to see, especially with that monstrous head on top of there. Looks like the first layer is going really good. So I think, and I'm going to have to double check the video, but I think I see the issue. This was squished down. I'm not exactly sure why, because you saw in there I checked the screen size of the image I used compared to what they used. They were identical. I think it was, what, 272 by 480? Something like that. You saw where I compared them. But this one, it's much higher, to where the one I had was much lower. So clearly a mistake on my part. Still not sure what or why though. Especially since I took their images and all I did was I just changed the color. I used Photoshop. I think Photoshop 21 is what I have. And I just used infill with the color I wanted. That's all I did. That was it. Saved it. Compiled it. Flashed it to the screen. Yeah, it was definitely squished. Could probably still do the main screen and it wouldn't matter. But I don't know what happened to the rest. But yeah, I'm printing from the SD card here. Everything's fine. So it is most definitely the screen image ratio or display setting, that something I changed. Squished it all to the bottom. And that's why they were messed up. So Josh, if you're watching it, if you use the information I sent you, make sure you check that when you do yours. I'm going to be redoing mine now that I know what the issue is. See if I can resolve that. This cube's already up to 25%. I can't remember if I did this with 5% infill or if this is spiral. I don't remember which one I did. Know here in just a minute. I have one that I did as spiral that I hope this is. I really want to see if there's any zits and stuff on it. Looks like it's just going around the outer perimeter. So yeah, this is spiral mode. Or at least it seems like it is. So good. 30%, yeah, it's got to be spiral mode. I haven't changed any settings. You saw me do a factory reset on it. The only thing, well, I take that back. I did change the temperatures for the thermistor and the bed, for the hot end in the bed, to fit my filament. It works best for my filament that I have. Other than that, I didn't change anything. This is exactly what they put out for the Community Firmware. It's on GitHub. I think they posted it on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's definitely spiral mode. Yep. Oh yeah. I think in my other video you saw where I said, don't do this. I went to pull up on it because it typically doesn't come off. But I pulled a little harder than I meant to and it popped off. I didn't damage the bed, but don't do that. I was being, exaggerating what not to do, and I was lucky. Just to show you real quick, because I know it's hard to see with my screen. Whoop. With the yellow settings of where they're supposed to be, the nozzle and bed temp are showing where they're supposed to be, and the name of the file, the bar graph, the timer, all of it's where it's supposed to be. It's not squished, as you will see in my previous part of this video where it is squished. So definitely found the problem. It is me, or what I did anyway. Look at screen time down. Does that help? Not really. Yeah, my camera just sucks. It will not focus. But if you know what the screen is, you're looking at yours, you know what it says. One of these days I'll get a real camera. And honestly, this is a nice camera. It's a Logitech 920C, a 1080p. I have two of them. Yeah, you can see my other one. It's this exact one right here. It's actually a really nice camera. It just doesn't like screens. It hates my phone screen. It hates my printer screens. My phone I can dim down to almost black, and then it can see it. I wonder, actually. No, that doesn't make it any better. That doesn't make it any better. Turn you upside down. Flip you left and right. Well, I could do that. That would mess with people. How do you get a screen on the left side? How's the filament on the right? That'd be rude. I'm trying to see if I can get that screen to just show better. No, that's worse. What's that? Yeah, that's just horrible. Well, it is what it is. I'd fix it if I knew how. Over, frame rate. Oh, right. Well, that did something. Hey, that actually looks much better. Let's see if we can read it. Oh, almost. I'll focus there for a minute. I'll turn this light off. Kinda, sorta, no, lost it. Right there, it has it. There we go. And then it buzzes out again. Oh well. You saw it good enough. If you didn't, rewind it. It's definitely better. I changed the priority. I didn't know that was an option from exposure to frame rate. It made a big difference, actually. What are we up to? 77%? And yeah, the community firmware is perfectly fine. It was definitely my error that I have to figure out. Nope, not that one. 3. There we go. Use this a little bigger so you can see what we're doing. CR-6. Okay, I'm going to check these one more time. These are theirs. I'm going to go to the screen that I believe is the issue. This one? No. It is this one. I use the ones they gave me and they're not right. The Z offset is here. I can't see it. The Z offset is here in the flow rate, and then the bed temp and the nozzle temp are not shown here. So these are the ones that are inside. Yeah, look at the bottom. It's missing. It's not my fault. These are all wrong. So I basically took these, this color for example, and then I just changed the red to blue, or whatever color I was going to go to. But these are the wrong images. Yeah, see at the bottom? The bed temp and the nozzle temp are missing. So now this has 3 rows and they're in a square. These aren't even in squares. Oh, here we go. See the X and Y? How these are in squares. And then you see over here on the main, they're all in squares. The bottom 2 are missing. And then these 3 aren't even there, and yeah, these are the wrong images. But I do know it is 23 screens, so I just have to extract the ones that are in it. Okay, so I just got to extract these, make the changes, and then make the image file, generate the file from those. So yeah, the mistake was not mine. I did do it right. The images on the card, or in the firmware, I didn't use the correct ones. I need to extract them from that 22 bin. Alright, now I know. We need the files with the what is it, 8 boxes at the bottom, and moved up a little bit. Damn, I don't know if the software I got will extract. I know it can generate. But guess what I'm going to be doing for the next hour or so. I know it brings those files up, but I was just replacing them. I didn't think to open those and make the changes. That's what I'm going to do now. But yeah, the cube printed. I'm not going to pull it off. It's still hot. Edges are very smooth. Yeah, it prints nice for me. I know other people were saying they're having issues. And now we can push exit, wait for it to cool off, then we can turn the power off. I don't like to turn it off with the hot end still that hot. I like to let it cool off first. So I will play with the firmware files and see if I can find a way to extract them, and then just change the silly color. That's all I want. If not, not. But yeah, the ones in the folder are not the right ones. See, these are the ones that are in the folder. It's when it's done. This screen. These right here are what you see. Yeah, it's only got those 4. Focus, you silly thing. Anyway, you get the gist of it. There's those 4. We need the other images. Well, I will mess with that. And I'll update, or I'll just add on to this video. I'm not even going to publish it until I figure out what or how to extract them. Okay. This one is either correct or it's not. Already got the memory card put in. Have not flashed it yet. Alright, let's turn it on and flash it. Now this is where I changed them to blue. And yes, Josh, I made a copy for you, so if it works, we're in business. Doesn't work, going back to the original one and we're done. But yes, I think I found the correct ones. Let's not go back to autofocus. Let's try this again. Well, we're not trying it again, but let's see if we can read the screen. That's much better. And now you see where it finished and it says end. Cool. Kill the power. Oop, you're looking at the sky. Turn you back down here. Powered it off. That's all I did. Unplug that. You've already seen how I take the memory card out with my tweezers. Set that off to the side. Oh yeah, you can still see the print we just did is still on the bed. I have not even done that. It's been a little bit. I've been trying to figure out how to extract the correct files, edit those files, and in this case when I say edit I mean change the colors from red to blue, and then recompile, generate a new ICL file, and it looks good on paper. Let's see what it looks like on here. Oh, I shouldn't have plugged that in yet. Let me just switch my screwdriver to the bigger size for these other bolts. Screws, I guess is the proper word. Fingers crossed. I may have said that 5 or 6 times already. I think I've done a longer video of me trying to change the colors than I did a video of the review itself of the firmware, which is fabulous, by the way. If people like me don't fuck it up. Alright, let's see if this part will release. Oh yeah, he popped right off. I want to flip the light on and see him real quick. Here, I'll leave him up there. Hold on a minute. So this is with the Community Firmware, completely as they made it. And yes, I have that high gloss filament that's a real pain in the butt. And my camera hates it. That is not blemishes, that's just dust off my fingers. And yeah, and I did it spiral, so the inside is empty. The bottom, focus, there we go. You can see the lines, but it's really glass smooth. You can't feel those. All right, put him up here with the other collection of 50 million calibration cubes. Now I am going to skip, well, let's just see what we see. With blue, the yellow's in the right place. Let's go to, oh, nope. Go to control, check our temps. That's in blue, the temps look good. I think the firmware, oh, those are green. I missed those. That's at a different screen that I didn't know about. Okay, I can live with those though. Preheating. Now here we only have these icons, but it's in when you actually start to print. That's the new screens. We gotta wait for it to get up to temp. We turn that top light. Oh, is this light? I'm not sure which one's causing the glare. Got that. That's a little better. Because, I mean, obviously we have the print, but we don't care about the print at this point. We care about the screen and if that sets up right. So we're just waiting for it to heat up. If I did this right, I will upload the other file for Josh. I'm really seriously hoping until the alpha version that we're good. What are we up to? 180. We got a little bit to go. You knew that, I'm sure. Close. Oh, looks like we're done actually. So we either got it or we didn't. Let's go into print. Calibration cube. Shows blue here. Hopefully you see that. Focus, you silly thing. Oh, actually I did this earlier. Well, you can see it's not red at least. Oh wait, now that it dimmed. Oh yeah, there you go. There you can see it's blue. Okay, so confirm. Heating up bed, and I saw the screen in the background. It looked correct. My Z offset is still at 0.28, so we're good there, I believe. Homing. Gonna make that little dot. Oh, it's dark in here. There we go. Gonna make that little dot in the middle of the bed. Set you down for a second. I actually want to see this. I think we got it though. Temp dropped to 0, or the setting dropped to 0, and the temp's down to 190 already. Waiting for heat up. And as you can see, the screen is not squished. It is showing all of the settings at the bottom with the bed and the nozzle. The yellow's where it's supposed to be there. Well, now it focuses. Thank you very much. But the temp dropped so much that we're stuck waiting for it to heat up to the 206 that I want it to go to. Zoom in on that. Will it focus? It won't focus on the numbers. Look, there it did. See, maybe I just don't know how to use my camera. Probably helps if I didn't wiggle all over the place. That's not what she said. Alright, we're above temp. Should be going. Should be doing the wipe now. Dot out of the middle. Hopefully the 2.8 is correct. Nice little hump to it. We should be good. I don't really care about the print at this point. I didn't change anything there. The only thing I did was the screen display. And as you can see, it's lined up correctly. We hit tune, it works. We hit pause, it works. We hit stop, it works. And we're going to go stop, confirm, back to the blue screen here. Oh. I didn't know it was going to present when you hit home. Well, you can see the beginnings of the first layer. And a big shadow. Oh, let me get the light on. Now we want the light. Good grief. Obviously that's where I stopped it, and that's why there's a little nubbin in the string. But our first layer is not perfect. But I can deal with it. That I can fix in the slicer. Is it cooling off? It is cooling off. This first layer should pop off. Yeah, came off pretty easy. If I can get you to see that up close and personal. So that's one layer. This is the top, obviously, and then that's the bottom. So, prints are good, screen's good. You can see here where it says print aborted. And, well, I'll turn it back on, but see what I'm doing is I'm using my phone app over here, and I power it off, and I use my phone app to turn it back on. If I can hit the button, we should see the blue screen, and we do. So, it looks like I found the correct screens. I did see that for, what was it? Something was still green. Cool down, I don't want it to heat up. Oh yeah, on the control screen there's two green buttons here. Focus, just silly thing. Those are green, but I can live with that. They're not red. I just don't like red. It's just me. I'm weird. I know. But so I'll be sending a link over to my, how am I going to do that? I'll put a link below. If you want the one that's blue, like I have here that you see, you can download it, flash it to the display. That's all you have to do. The firmware you don't have to change as long as you're on the custom community one, 4.5.2. Now, if you're like Josh and you want the one that's kind of a turquoise green or turquoise blue, that'll be also, I'll link to it in the description down here below, and it'll say Josh, because he's the one who asked for it. So you got the red from the community that everybody else is using, the blue one that I have, and then there'll be one that says Josh that's kind of a turquoise green, turquoise blue, and you just flash them to the display like I just did. So you have 3 different color options. All 3 seem to work great. Actually, I'm going to test his before I upload it. I'm not going to go through it because it's the exact same thing I just did. That's cool enough now. I'll turn him off. Yeah. So actually, not as difficult. Actually, what's difficult is the software is in Chinese, and it's probably really simple if I could understand what I'm clicking on, but I'm watching someone else do it, and the results they get, and then I'm copying it, clicking, to me, what look like pictures, but to them are words, because I can't read Chinese. I can't. Sorry. Not being offensive. I just can't. Anyway, so seems like, well, as you saw, it worked. Have fun with it. Good grief. Let's hope the alpha version fixes the little tiny bugs, and we're all good. And there's really not that many bugs that I'm aware of. Thank you.